Filipino. Zeke Black is in the building. Ezekiel Black is in the building. This show is dedicated to some New York history because for some reason a lot of people must have got their history or probably around the time when they came home a little twisted. And you're going on these platforms and you're selling what y'all know, and you're portraying or perpetrating like it's righteous and it's real not. It's not. It's this is why dudes is getting punched in their face, chased in the yard. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? You feel what I'm saying? This is why situations happen when y'all go, yo, you should know better. You should know what, you know what I'm saying? You should know, yo, definitely top of the morning, MTG. Billy get him, Billy got him. You know what I'm saying? But not. Today's show is not based off of who's better than who. Top of the morning, top of the AM was popping. This is not about goofy games. We're not doing goofy games. We're not doing, nothing that's in that platform. You know what I'm saying? Facts, exactly. We know the lingo. We know the language. Now, for months, I've been wanting to say something for a long time, right? But I allowed some characters, some individuals to speak, say what they want to say on this platform, say what you want to say, make it sound. I don't care if you're a young boy running around a bunch of older cats in these maxes. We don't care about none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens in the penitentiary. But why do people keep saying, how did the Latinos be a part of the New York Damu movement? Salute, Sincere Jones, salute. How did the Latinos be a part of the Damu movement in New York? They always was a part of it. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why that's why I know who's a drop, who's first generation, and who was really around. Before we spoke about Magoo, just one, we spoke about Chi-Chi, right? That was in the street. You know what I'm saying? Before Magoo was a conversation, Chi-Chi was a conversation, right? Latino, right? Dizzy Threat. He's from Central. He's Panamanian. He's been a part of the movement since the beginning of the movement. 9 Trey, Shy Nitty, Third Shoe. 1-8 Trade Gangsters, remember? When they trade, you know what I'm saying? Remember, exactly. When they trade. So why do y'all keep assuming that Magoo was the first Latino homie? And how did the Latinos be a part of the movement when Dizzy Threat actually ran Rikers Island at one point in time? You know what I'm saying? You hear me? And if you don't know this, then something's physically wrong with you. If you're gonna sit here and say that Dizzy, who's Spanish, right? Panamanian, speaking Latino. Remember, he used to be in the dorms with them. But since he got a little spite on his name, somebody was chasing the bag, and that's just about it. They try to push him to the side. You can't change history. See, that's the thing. The West Coast, they don't change history. Free magic. You know what I'm saying? That's where this goes wrong at. That's why I said there's no time for goofy games. That's why dudes are sitting on these platforms going back and forth. They're arguing, they're beefing, because they're trying to change history. You can't change history. So you're telling me that Magoo was the first Latino Damu, and how would the Latinos be a part of the movement when they was a part of the movement from the get-go? You know what I'm saying? You hear me? From when it started. It's just that at one point in time, the Latin, you know what I'm saying? This one point in time, you had just being Latin King was trendy in jail. Being the that was a trend. All that was trendy. But remember a lot. But one thing, and I'm gonna say this, I hate saying this word, but back in those times, you would call people Germans. So when we see a bunch of Latinos posted up together like they in the club in the yard, we just put them all in one pile. Because one thing about the Latinos, they show love to each other until they go through their own politics. You know what I'm saying? So unless you was from outside and you knew what was going on, most Latinos is coming from street crews. Like when you see 3, 4 Puerto Ricans, you might have said, yeah, he's down with the Obsession crew. Oh yeah, I know, son. He from Cypress Ave. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Yo, he's from Boom. Yo, yeah, I know, son. He from the Blue Top crew. That's how dudes was being singled out. When I got locked up, I was Z from Lex. And then what it came after that was, okay, he fuck with them, or he's running with them cats, or he knows, son, and that's how the game went. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he was Latin King first. You understand what I'm saying? So we didn't decipher if somebody was Latin King unless you grew up in an area where there was mounts of Latin Kings. Where I'm from in East Harlem, we didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? I love when y'all speak in the chat. Where I was from on the Spanish side of East Harlem, we didn't see that. We talking about the early 90s. Now, it probably was on the east side, but dudes were still block crews. So we didn't see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you had a dude that had a block for 4 summers. He wasn't wearing a yellow bandana. A lot of dudes joined those movements. You know what I'm saying? Exactly on the nose with you, Jackie. There were a lot of individuals that joined those movements. That's because they started going to jail. So they might have became the Yetta, or they might have became Latin King. You know what I'm saying? But if that wasn't in your neighborhood, like to be DDP, to be DDP, Dominicans don't play. Most likely you was uptown. You know what I'm saying? To be ball buster, you was around the ball busters. Or that was street stuff. Like to be Zulu, you was Zulu. You know what I'm saying? Exactly how Harlem Renaissance. So that was blocked. That was more in the street than when you to the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? So you sync that. Like you knew about DDP, TDK, all that by Broadway and G-Dub High School. All that was what you seen in the street. Compared to when you seen Latin Kings and the other stuff, a lot of us first seen that in jail. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, you know what I'm saying? And remember, Rikers Island back then, East side, you heard East side all the time. And that's when you can wear all your clothes on Rikers Island. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Made it to the jail, exactly. So that's one thing that we did know about. Like La Familia. We knew about La Familia because that was something that was in the street. That we knew that was in the street. We knew about certain little cliques, and those are certain areas. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to definitely Edgar was popping. That's right. Shout out salute to East Harlem, man. You know, to the El Barrio. You know what I'm saying? We knew about that through the streets. So, like I said, when y'all say, how did the Latinos get a part of the whole movement? Because they're always a part of the movement. You had the guards, the Latino guards. You had dudes that grew up around blacks all their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not a surprise. It's just that you had in our generation, right? Not everybody Latino was racist. Like everybody black's not racist. But we had situations where you had some Puerto Ricans that was just on Puerto Rican time. Like some Dominicans that was on Dominican time. So they only dealt with really their own. Which is only right. You come from the country, you deal with your people. Then you had some that grew up with us. So the ones that grew up with us was like, yeah, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like them. So even though they might have got locked up on the DFY and hopped in the King Whip, they came home. There wasn't none of that. You know what I'm saying? So we still didn't see it. Like a couple of my men, they caught 1 and 3s that came home. They might have been the Yetta in jail and came home and it was back to the crew. Because we singled dudes out back then by what crew you came from, what block you from. If I say, yo, son, you know Edgar, good example. Yo, you know Edgar from 107? They're gonna say, yeah, son, he's talking about son from the, you know what I'm saying? They definitely try him in the building, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, yeah, son, I know son from 107, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it was, the Matata, you know what I'm saying? That's how it was. We didn't go, yeah, I remember Edgar, the Nieta, right? Those wasn't conversations until like the 90s. Towards after like 93, 94, then we started singling crews out. Yeah, we didn't really know. So we didn't, because the only dudes that we considered that was gang related, that was really like, we called it gang, was those dudes on Fifth Avenue. Those are the Crips. Everybody knew about the Rolling 30s. Those are the Crips. The Crips, they only in California. That I knew about on the east side. I don't know what's going on in your areas, but in my areas, when we said a gang, you said them dudes. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. Salute that, you know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, they definitely was. But we didn't get that education into mass incarceration. The show I had yesterday, mass incarceration, is how we got in tune with all this jail lingo. You know what I'm saying? Because I told you, when you left the block, you went back to yo, I need a pack. Or yo, I got the block back. Nobody was really talking about, yo, let's have a meeting. You know what I'm saying? Get your flags. We're having a meeting at Chocho House. We're gonna break, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't how the game went. I don't know how it went in your neighborhood. It wasn't like that in mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tone Lopez really had a block that wasn't, if you was Latin King, I was surprised. You know what I'm saying? He ran with a cool Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? Except one, Kenny Black. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Tone Lopez, free Kenny Black. When I seen Ian White in them, and MPV earning all of them, that was some Black and Latino getting money together doing the Black and Latino war in jail. That, you understand what I'm saying? Exactly. I love the vibe right here. I love the vibe. Like, so for me, gotta keep on that eye. When I said, yo, man, them dudes, yeah, it's a bunch of Crips on 119th, 118th, 17th, and all that Fifth Avenue. That's where they at. You know what I'm saying? Everything else was blocks. That's the W300. Feed the wolves. Definitely salute to the Carver Mob, salute the Wash Mob. Rest in peace, Hassan. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Raheen, Rest in peace, Raheen. Rest in peace, Bubs. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Poodle. That's how we define dudes. The only dudes that. So now when we get into this narrative, definitely salute to the bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And see, that's real talk. Because you know. This is it, and we need these historical conversations. I think we don't. We began to allow people to create a narrative. So you're telling me that Dizzy Threat, who's from Panama, who's probably one of the first 20 Damus on this side, Rikers Island, real off how y'all say it, NYB from the NYB to the UBN, that he wasn't one of the first Latino homies, Shy Nitty. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I think because we allow people to create these narratives, it looks like, yo, Magoo was one of the first. To be honest with you, that was like, it was 9-5, it was a different trend. Remember? The adolescents got more involved. You know what I'm saying? So when the adolescents got involved, a lot of things changed. You know what I'm saying? Max started putting a newer generation in position, and Magoo fell right into that new flow. Not taking it away from him, you know what I'm saying? But you had Latino Damus way before him. So needless to say, even though we was at war with a certain set of Latin kings and a certain set of nietas, it was still some Latinos that was a part of the movement, like Dizzy Threat, 183 Donald G Gangsters at that point in time. Salute to the DGF family, which is, they independent doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? MK and them, they doing a great job over there. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking, you're going, why are there so many Latinos in high positions in the New York thing? Because they always been around. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Basic to that dawn. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Donald G Gangsters, 183rd, you heard? You know what I'm saying? That 183 that OG Mac was claiming was his block when he came home. He wasn't claiming Donald G Gangsters. You know what I'm saying? Salute to what they doing on 3rd Street. So Dizzy was a superior way before Magoo was. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? So why do people always ask this crazy question, and then it's just like the people that's answering the question is they because they don't know. They came at a certain time and they're going by from what they know, and they're misleading y'all. So this is why dudes get flipped the clip on. This is why dudes get punched in the face. This is why dudes look at you crazy. That's why the older cats, you feel like, yo, I just came home and they label me fool. They play me like I'm stupid, because you have to You have to be in tune. To even Polo, one of the first Latino homies, even LK, he was Miller. The Latinos always been with us. Like I took, if you was locked up in the 90s, then you know. When I got locked up and I went to HCM, that's Mercedes from Wild Cowboys. That's Pumpkin from Far Rock. He grew up with the 4 Green Cats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, son. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Free Wildcat. You know what I'm saying? But y'all began to allow people to, yeah, definitely Free Wildcat. We began to allow people to change the narratives because the paperwork changed. So now you try to make it more official. Like, well, when I became Damu, this is what was going on. But this, so when somebody asks you, yo, son, how did the Latins get part of a movement that y'all was going to war with? There was Latins that was a part of the movement. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of those old wars was old issues when dudes was God body. When they was renegade guards, when they was renegade Muslims. A lot of those old black Latino beefs was Attica War beefs, Collins beef, Osgenberg beefs. These are old beefs that just hit full head on Rikers Island. That came to head on Rikers Island. These are already old issues. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, C-95. You see where the war started at? C-95, C-73. Back then, C-95 was like 138 from Brook Ave. The bag was serious. They were doing that split. They still probably doing it now, but you knew that the bag was in place in C-95. Dudes had habits. Remember, New York City was like Sing Sing. There's only 2 spots by New York that, just like New York, didn't think about it. Back then, you could wear your clothes. So you was in the street. You could wear your full garments. You could wear Gucci's, big chains, and all that. The only time when I was on the island that you had to wear a monkey suit was when you went on the visit. Everything else was fair game. You got to visit every other day. You can physically send your clothes home, get them washed, and they can bring it right back to you. You know what I'm saying? It's just that war, that Latin King by 94, 95, 96, it just went all the way. But we can't forget the history. So now when somebody get on the platform and go, how did the Latinos get down with the homies? Hold on one second. Yeah, I gotta send an unconditional to wifey, man. I want you to vibe, man, because this is history, right? Like, only one person ever mentioned Dizzy in any of these platforms, and I don't understand when y'all sit down and go, well, how did the Latino? They was always a part of it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? They was always down. It's just like I said, when you got locked up, right? Like me from Spanish Harlem, I'm black. I might have been closer with more Latinos because that's when I'm from, Spanish Harlem. So dudes from 107th Street, dudes from Taft, dudes from Yo Z, come over here. That's who I be with, because at that, when I was locked up, they were still going through bubble issues and they were still going through the politics. Told you, a lot of these beefs was old jail beefs. A lot of these beefs was, yo, you robbed me when I was in Spofford. You robbed me when I was in Tryon. Yo, son, remember them? So a lot of these black Latino issues was played out when dudes was in DFY. No, my man was telling me about some dude like, yeah, son, I had beef with son since you was in Camp Cass. What? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He was in Camp Cass. Like, how you... But he had a real beef with son. So let's imagine. Exactly. We in the building, man. Everything trendy. Nothing but love. Definitely shout out to, man, what's it, Bucks. Shout out to the Whole Lean Projects. I ain't forget you, Bucks. Buck. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Whole Lean Projects, man. You know what I'm saying? It's serious, man. Rest in peace, Tone Capone, man. That whole Lehman for life, 108th Street side blocks and all that. Madison Ave. We here, Fifth Avenue. You know what I'm saying? Because I think because I'm seeing narratives No, the Latinos, they should have been a part of it. What are you talking about? They've been a part of us, man. Before most of y'all dudes even took an oath. Your big homies, if you really know about your set, like Deputy 9 Trey and NYB, then you would know that Dizzy and Shy Nitty, they was 101s. Chi-Chi, you know what I'm saying? Latinos. These are the dudes that was moving the crowd. There wasn't no black and Spanish thing. All that narrative got created after the 9-5 wars. The dudes started picking the chickens. It was a war. But then you have to wonder, how did a lot of Latin kings just wind up jumping ship from kings and jumping because who they grew up around? You gotta keep this in mind. Just because I'm Latin king in jail and I hang out with my Puerto Ricans getting my Spanish history does not mean in the street I wasn't hanging out with a bunch of Morenos. You understand what I'm saying? We have to get back to the narratives, man. Get back to and this is it, I'm saying. It was all mixed, bro. Like I told you, I got locked up in 9-3 and I pulled to see my man. I don't know he king. They go, yo, son, you know, son, that's my man. He get money with the Blue Top crew. I'm not gonna go, yeah, son, because we didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that we didn't see. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see the mixing of the cliques. Like I told you, Dizzy Thread at one point in time ran Rikers Island. They used to pull him out his cell to talk to the little homies like, yo, chill, you're bugging. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no before him. There was before him, but you know what I'm saying? So now we have to go back to how did Latinos be a part of the movement? Because they've always been a part of the movement. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean about history and people changing the story, like just like what you Jack has said, word of mouth. So you gotta understand. You have to be understanding what I'm saying right now, right? Because talk in the chat, y'all can communicate with each other. Everybody can build a because I met a shy nigga I was in the box with. I ain't seen him face to face, but he was black. He had dreads. You know what I'm saying? That might be the one that was shine before. You know what I'm saying? Then he had his own hood, but then people started running. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's the right one, but I remember in 09, when I was in the box, he had a situation. He got caught up. Money D was Papino. You know what I'm saying? So to the chat, man. You know, we can't change the narrative. We can't. So the answer a lot of y'all people questions that I've been hearing mixed stories, the Latinos always been a part of the movement. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? It wasn't created just to be a black thing. It wasn't a black revolution. You know what I'm saying? It was never a black revolution. You know what I'm saying? It was just a revolution against being oppressed. According to people, we created this because they saying that the Latinos was oppressing African Americans, the blacks. That was just the narrative created to get the troops in. But in all reality, we had Latinos that were superiors. So how are you gonna have somebody when you say when I say superior 101? That's first generation talk, right? That's first generation talk. So how somebody named Chi-Chi that's Latino and we're gonna have somebody like Dizzy that's Latino are able to move the crowd if his people was oppressing us? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? If they was oppressing us. That's why we gotta talk to the OGs, man. Get with the OGs, man. Some salute the Mercedes. I was at HCM with them, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Mac Baller family, man. How you think all this happened? You think dudes just woke up one day and said, yo, let's just bring them home a bunch of Latinos? They was always down with us. Somebody's cool with somebody. Somebody grew up with somebody. Yo, I know son, I grew up with him from my block. A lot of dudes be joining these other organizations catching their 1 and 3s. Remember the 1 and 3 ever? Remember that? The robberies, the Decepticon era, when dudes would catch a robbery and sit them top for the little 1 and 3 and all that? Remember that era? A dude, somebody might become Muslim. God body was hard because the guards back then was worse than the homies. so really to become God body, you had to be a dangerous dude. Like the guards was real serious back then. Like to become God body, you really had to be on your 1-2s. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You really had to be on your 1-2s to be God body. It may got watered down during the rap generation, but if you didn't know your 1 to 10 and what's the science and all that, dudes was upside your heads, bing, mouth, bing, bing, bing. And that God body movement just wasn't in New York. It was strong in Albany, New York too. They called Albany the Allah born. A lot of the guards, because a lot of dudes in Albany was going to jail. A lot of dudes in Albany, New York was going to jail. Troy, Schenectady, so a lot of them was God body under the first generation. A lot of those guards in Albany was like, they definitely like, that's just like we got the firstborns in Brooklyn and Queens and all that, Manhattan and Bronx. A lot of firstborns was in Albany, New York. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the guards, peace to the guards. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get to it, but that's history. Nobody's gonna tell you that, right? Because everybody wanna act like I know and I'm the historian. You can tell who's doing what and when in the conversation. I just never said this about, because I get tired of seeing the rants and the Latinos and everything. What are y'all talking about? This is just history. What are you talking about? You can't be Nine Trey and not recognize what Dizzy did for Nine Trey. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You can't. You can't be Billy and not recognize, or, you know what I'm saying? Everything changed when Mac left the state. We get it. A lot of independence, a lot of committee was created, and then people started being put in positions, but we gotta recognize who's in position first. You know what I'm saying? Come on, homie. And that's why these young boys get in trouble. Because these young boys is going up top, listening to you dudes, and they getting punched in the face. They getting chased around the block. They getting cut in the yard because you dudes is misleading them with information, and then it makes it look like the homies don't got it together, man. This no more monkey games, no more goofy games. We're not playing no more goofy games. There's no more. I'm gonna play with you Monday. We're gonna do a show Monday together, and then Tuesday we're gonna go in on each other. That's not what we do. That's not what was happening. When you said peace, almighty, peace, blood, that was for everybody. Oppression, destruction, blood. How about some hardcore bloods like a roar? It didn't say, oh yeah, disclaimer, blacks. Exactly, bro. Was it a revolution? Yeah, it was a revolution. It was a war between two colors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But then you got black Puerto Ricans. We got the African Puerto Ricans, right? The darker skinned Puerto Ricans that come from Puerto Rico, that Latin kings shooting everything moving. They got African blood. There's African descent. Remember, the Caribbean, if you don't know your history, was a trading port for slavery. So like in Haiti, even in Jamaica, you got a portion of Jamaica that got Africans. Just like Mexico, a portion of Mexicans that have Africans from the slave trade, generations of Africans, you know what I mean? Come on, bro, dark-skinned Puerto Ricans. What do you think? It was dark-skinned because they said, nah, you're just going to be, you're Puerto Rican, but it's going to have a group of just dark-skinned Puerto Ricans. You wildin', man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be bugging. Some of the illest dudes I knew was dark-skinned. You know what I'm saying? Was dark-skinned Puerto Ricans. Heck Tech East Side. I'm talking about Heck Tech from the East Side, from Madison. He's dark-skinned. You know what I'm saying? We in the same room together, you think he black. My man Jimbo from the East Side. Dark-skinned Puerto Rican. Dark-skinned Puerto Rican. Jimbo. So you understand what I'm saying? That's because they have that African in them. They got more African in their bloodline. So it's just who tells you their history, man. Dudes began to allow because dudes are going to the box, rumor mills, they made some rules, and the rules started Xing people out. So then the history got trampled over. The history got mixed up. So this is why you have a conversation like, yo, how is that black? How is that? I don't know how the Spanish became homie. What are you talking about? They've been around since the beginning. What are you talking about? It's just that probably when you came home, it was a blood Latin King war. So you looked at things differently. Like me, when I was running around, we was going to war with a bunch of Crips. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And that was black on black crime. That wasn't even black Latino crime. I was in the mix of the beginning of the B&C wars in New York. You know what I'm saying? That was black on black crime. I was surprised to see Spanish Crips. To be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But there was. You know what I'm saying? Top of the morning, Nikki Eyes was popping. We ain't playing no goofy games today, man. We getting into the history. We getting real right, man. Forget the slander, because at the end of the day, we can't take away from what Dizzy Threat did for the UBN. You know what I'm saying? You can't take away from that. Like I tell you, and it's funny because in these conversations, right? Getting to New York, right? Streets of New York. I know the streets. I was outside. No, you was in your selective section, and that's what you know. You may have full history of the area you grew up in, where it might have been a bunch of Jamaican shower posse, springlers, or whatever. ABG, whatever, crime family. But when it comes to this, when you're moving around, moving and grooving, it's always like, it's just that it was a lot of them old beefs was over some different situations, different scenarios. You know what I'm saying? When you think about a 9-2 beef with some Puerto Ricans, it was just, it was a different time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Definitely Nikki Eyes, everything healthy. When it's I'm saying, it was a different time. That beef in T73 might have been with 2 kings, 4 nietas, 2 Puerto Ricans straight out of Puerto Rico, and just 2 other little Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's this. I'm giving you the historical facts. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand when you moved around the boroughs, because you can't say, yo, I don't know how Latinos got down with this whole Damu thing. How can you physically say that you don't know how that happened? They should have stood neutral and stuff like that. Like, how does that happen? And I know because dudes be on these platforms, they get away with it. Because dudes want to feel like he can open the door for me, so I'm gonna just let him talk foolish. He can open the door for me, so I'm gonna allow him to say some things. I'm gonna allow him to say things to get away with it, because maybe if I holler at him, he could do something for me. But that's not how this thing go. We're cutting the goofy games out, bro. We're cutting this out. You should already know your history. Yo, when somebody asks you, how did the Latinos get part of the Damu movement? Your answer's supposed to be, they've always been a part of the movement. Come on, man. 183rd, man. Dizzy Threat. That's just one, Dizzy. There's a couple of more, Polo. There's a couple of more, Wildcat. Stop listening to the narratives of dudes in the street that's changing the history, that's changing the story, man. Stop doing that, man. B to the L, you already know, man. Come on, man. That sounds crazy. So now, again, Panamanians, they speak Latino. Central America, right? Let's get to the get down. Not all Panamanians is dark skinned. You got some Panamanians that's like the Honduras, right? You got the more that's more European, then you got the ones that's more like African, just like Brazil. When we look at a picture of Brazil, right? We see the rich people or the more European looking ones. Gina was popping. Double O to the death. Melvin Smalls was popping. You understand what I'm saying? And then you have the more African Brazilians that's more, they're in poverty. You know what I'm saying? When you see a picture of Brazilians, you see a European looking Latino. But do you know that one of the biggest countries that got a lot of Africans is Brazil? Come on, bro. You gotta understand the Caribbeans, man. This is the United States of America, man. There's no way you can say that we created something that was just all African Americans. We all got something in us, right? I got half Bahamian in me. Some dudes got half Puerto Rican in them. Some dudes have half Dominican in them. The only difference is a lot of the dudes that they call Jibaros. Not my bad. A lot of Jibaros, they're more sectioned off. The Jibaros, the more countrymen. And that's anywhere you go. In the Caribbean, anywhere. You go to like my man. My man's is a Hebrew, so he's more with his roots. You know what I'm saying? He's more with his Puerto Ricans. He's just more Puerto Rican than the average Puerto Rican. He ain't racist. He's just more Puerto Rican than the average Puerto Rican because he come from the countryside. You meet a lot of them from that's Jibaros, like Dominicans. Remember the ones with the Jerry Curls and all that. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So how even Portuguese, right? There's a lot of Portuguese. You go to Boston, you go to Rhode Island, there's a bunch of them out there, right? Dark skinned. Europeans. Brazil is the second largest country with African descent. So why are we allowing this media to create these narratives that it was a black and Latino war, man? It was a jail war. That's what it was. It was a jail war. It was something that happened in jail. It was something to do. It was trendy. It went from, because you had a lot of good names a part of it. You had a lot of good names, black names that was a part of the movement. Kev Force was getting money in New York. He joined the movement, right? Right? That wasn't going on Manhattan Ave in the 90s. So we had a lot of respectable names that joined the movement. You had some dudes that they had beef with Latinos from the beginning. Remember, in jail, they do stick together. They stick together. Shaq Garvey was popping. They stick together. So if you had a beef with the Latinos, it's just like how it was with the ball buster days, right? You go on the west side, start acting crazy on the upper west side or something like that, or just the west side, 100 Dominicans that chase you and put the Ming Miles on you. Same way with that's one thing about them. They stick together, man. They stick together, and that's one thing, and that's where we feel at, because we try to create these weird narratives to make us stick together. No, that it was one clique versus another clique, and that shit just blew up. Of course, there might have been more Latinos in jail than African Americans because the Latinos was getting money, so they was getting caught up more than us when it came to buying buses and police raids and. Yeah, because they dealt with the vice. When I mean vices, they dealt with everyday police. When you went on these drug blocks, exactly, salute to the chat, man. That's Manny Ramirez hood, 157th and all that, right? 168th and all that. That's where A-Rod is from, uptown, Dominican land. No disrespect to Dominicans, but uptown, we call that Dominican land, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you the most racist things I seen growing up was the Puerto Ricans and Dominicans go through their race wars. That was real in the street. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That was a real beef in the street between some Puerto Ricans and some Dominicans. The most racist things I heard as a kid was a Puerto Rican going in on a Dominican. Yo, he's a Latino. You look at his colors he got on. Yo, look at this dude. He got a purple, yellow, and green socks on. Look at him. That's the most racist I seen growing up. Was Puerto Ricans were always clown. Certain Puerto Ricans were always clown Dominicans. No matter how much money they got, no matter how much bread they got, no matter how official they was. They were always clown the Dominicans. Dominicans came up in the game, though. You know what I'm saying? Those are the first wars we seen. The first issues we seen. You know what I'm saying? And the Dominicans look like us. 90% of them. Just like Manny Ramirez look like us. Manny. Puerto Rican Manny. Remember the baseball player? Puerto Rican Manny. He went to G-Dub High School. Look just like us. They would clown up as a kid, playing baseball, wiffle ball, and all that. Those are the first wars that we see, you know what I'm saying? Facts, bro. Those were the first. If you want to say about a war between two different sides, you would say the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. If you was in New York, you was outside. If you was outside in them 90s, then I would say a question of how does somebody Dominican become Latin King? How does a Puerto Rican become DDP? Because those are the only two mixes. When it comes to this Damu thing, they've always been involved. You had Puerto Rican guards, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You have Puerto Rican renegade guards. What you think when you met Juan? Because his last name said, look, Shaquel. They say he's Spanish. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure Shaquel was way around, way before Magoo. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. You know, I'm from Spanish Harlem, man. I'm gonna give it to y'all. And people may not like it, they might not like what I'm saying, but it has to. That's the truth. The only beefs that we really seen was the Puerto Rican Dominicans. But a lot of Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? That's a fact, bro. So you can't say, how did the Puerto Rican Spanish get down with the clique if Spanish always been down with the clique? Dudes, a lot of dudes was righteous though. So you look at it as, yo, his name is John Smith. You don't know that his father Puerto Rican was mother Puerto Rican unless you grew up with him. You know what I'm saying? Because he dark skinned, nah, so he black. He Latino. My man Orville Richardson was blacker than me. 100% Panamanian. Brooklyn is one of the most cultural boroughs that we know, like Queens, but definitely Brooklyn. Brooklyn, every 4 blocks is something different. That was. You know what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. Now, because of a black or Latino war, it caused issues, it caused animosities, it caused tensions, it caused situations that dudes that came to not like each other no more. Where dudes really went gun for gun, and dudes really went to war. You know what I'm saying? But they've always been a part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't know, ain't our fault. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Ain't your fault. You just came on at a different time. You took on a different type of salute. If I'm right, Mark Cross got Panamanian in his blood. So how is dudes that whoever came under those legions, right? Mark Cross, if he's Panamanian, that means that he's Latino. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You can put Mark Cross in a room with a bunch of Latinos and he can kick that Willie Bobo. Most of us can't do it unless you go up on the east side or East New York on the side blocks, private houses, or the South Bronx. Just get there, man. So how are people that's gonna look and go, Hellraiser, he Panamanian. If he's one of the original Billies. So why are people acting like, I don't know how the Latinos got part of this. They say, I don't know how the Kings got a part of this, but then it all boils down to block talk. A lot of dudes join the Kings in jail. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. See, we trying to save lives here. Y'all trying to see your babies get shot, murdered, understand the movement. We all black, bro. My man said, some of that you'll see, we all African, bro. What's wrong? There's a lot of Africans, bro. My man should tell me that all the time with the Puerto Rico thing. Like, I grew up around a lot of Puerto Ricans that was giving me that history. I never knew a lot of stuff about Puerto Rico. There's parts of Puerto Rico that got people darker than us. That of true African descent. That's 70% African, mixed with Indian, mixed with that Spain. Come on, man. Like I told you, that I just gave Mark Cross an example. He's Panamanian. He's Latino. You know what I'm saying? So when y'all sit and go, you can't have a Mark Cross conversation and go, I don't know how Latinos became blood. He was Panamanian. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He was Panamanian. This is why, because people may have fallouts with dudes. We get it. There's certain situations that dudes had. There's certain beefs dudes that may have had. There's certain, you know what I'm saying? And you know what you can tell with fact, because he had a lot of knowledge of self, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We getting there, party people. We're gonna get this step by step. We're gonna fix things. So now you sit back and go, how does LO become a guy in a high position? Because he's always been around. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can say, now, like I said, we have nothing to do with the yo, he broke this rule in and broke that. We don't care about that. We care about the historical lesson here. You hear me? We can't take history. Y'all can't keep changing history. You can't. You can't say F Latin Kings. I don't know how the homies got a part of this whole Latin King movement. How Latinos, when some of the dudes y'all look up to, like Mark Cross, Hellraiser, let's say Hellraiser, Mr. EGB himself, he Panamanian. Oh, now he black, he Panamanian. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He Panamanian. So let's stop that, man. Because it causes confusion. It causes, bad enough we got our personal 1090 shit going on with each other. Let's get the history right at least. Exactly. Let's get their history right. Good example. I was surprised to see a lot of Jamaicans jump in the whip over the years, seeing a lot of West Indian names, because you know the Jamaicans was a little, we used to say that the Jamaicans was racist towards blacks, African Americans. We were surprised, like when a lot of Jamaicans started jumping in the whip. But then to think about it, when you start building dialogue with people, a lot of people have West Indian descent. You know what I'm saying? They come from the West Indies. A lot of people had status. Come on, man. We got to stop going off of history after 2000. That's what dudes are talking about. Yo, this, that, now is in jail with him and boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we get it. It's a different time. A lot of your dudes came home under the 1090 generation. We get it. Yeah. Yeah. We get it. A lot of your dudes came home under these conditions, man. You know what I'm saying? We get it. We get it. We understand it. So you just get to us about the 1090 generation. We get it. We understand the power struggles, the slang, the slander. We get it. But when it comes to this beat in New York, let's get this straight. When you was my age, and most of them OGs is older than me, every area was different, right? Brooklyn was a little more different because you had the Muslim versus the Guards. That was a real beef on certain blocks in the street. A lot of them kingpins you're hearing about. Exactly. He said, I'm Haitian and I'm blood, and most are Crip. Certain. So it's all about history, man, and who's telling you the story. And why they tell you the story, some dudes want to go viral, so they put together these weird narratives. There's no way that you can't say, now he's one of the newest homies, right? And that's where the separation comes in the conversation, man. So you can't say the Bloods in New York, NYB, original UBN, without saying Latinos was a part of the movement. That's before ex-Kings started jumping in the whip. We talk about pure, yo, I'm homie, I'm with the cause, you my man, I grew up with you, let's go. This is when Rikers Island will shoot him up, bang, dudes been getting cut on Rikers Island. Dudes is dying on Rikers Island for that phone. You had legends on Rikers Island, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, when somebody got locked up, you always said what blocked him was from. Like, yeah, I know, son, he from Cyprus. Okay, he must be a junior Cyprus boy. Oh, yeah, son, he over there, he must be from the Wild Cowboys. You wouldn't go, yo, that son from that block, that's where the Millers is at. That wasn't the conversation yet. Yo, where's son from? Yo, is that where the Billies be at? That wasn't the conversations back then. Like I told you, the most racist stuff that we seen growing up was Dominicans, some Dominicans and some Puerto Ricans going back and forth. It was surprised to see when it was time to get that bread, that baby love, a lot of Puerto Ricans started getting money with them Dominicans. Allegedly, you know what I'm saying? So they was able to push their differences to the side for the bag. We haven't been able to put our differences aside over ego. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of rich Puerto Ricans that put to the side they personal how they feel about a certain race. Remember, they grew up like this with the hate mail from their parents. Them Dominicans, so they get that. I remember growing up on my block and certain Puerto Ricans acting funny with certain Dominicans. I remember that certain Dominicans acting funny with the Puerto Ricans. I remember playing stoop ball and they be like, yo, but the Dominicans can't play with us. You know what I'm saying? I remember before somebody ever called me nigga, NIWGA, they call somebody a block to know. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? Yeah, Andy can't. That's why they be laughing, because everybody wants to be the first one. Everybody wants to put themselves to be an OG. So what happens is they create a narrative that has to have some type of weird beef in it that doesn't make sense. You might, that's why dudes here on here beefing. At this point, dudes should be educating, knowledge born and understanding. If we come from those disciples, even if you was in the street and you wasn't God body, you always wanted knowledge yourself. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? You want to tell somebody, listen, I know I'm breaking the law, but I'm doing this so I can come up. It wasn't because I want to stay in the same place. This is where the game is getting risky and frisky at, because people keep changing the history, and then another dude will see that and go, let me go in on him, he lying, this ain't a fact, and this is where we at, still stage one. That's like saying, in the graffiti days, that the only people listening to reading certain newspapers, they would make you believe that the only ones that was writing graffiti was blacks and Puerto Ricans. Wrong. You had Dominicans, you had Albanians, you had Russians. Some of the most famous graffiti artists are Caucasian. We had some Colombians. You had Chino BYI in them on that 7 line. You know what I'm saying? We keep allowing people to throw narratives and then we go with it. Yeah, you're right. It was a black and Puerto Rican thing. No, it wasn't. Cap One MPC is one of the most famous graffiti artists out there. Look at Wild Style Wars. Y'all see him? Right where that, rest in peace, I forgot the graffiti artist's name. He stopped on the Morris Park train stop, like, yo, son, keep going over people's names on that 5 line. Dude used to fight with them. When you see a picture with K-Slay with a baseball bat, that's because dudes had to shake out. JA1. You know what I'm saying? Ghost, RS. Big, you know what I'm saying? Let's stop allowing people to create a narrative and just go with it, because, yo, this is how, maybe I could get in if I just play along with this story. What you're talking about, man? Everybody, a lot of people got African in them. I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of people got African in them. You understand what I'm saying? That's just you know, due to the slave trade. This is what slavery's done. Slavery has mixed a lot of races. You know what I'm saying? So you don't blame us. It ain't our fault. It's the people that snatched us up, brought us to these weird islands, and put us for sale. So this is how the mixing of the races happened. If it was up to us, we just stood in our land and built our land. If it was up to us. But we got kidnapped, of course, and so what happens? So now when you have certain parts of Greece, certain parts of Italy with the dark skins is because of the slave trade. You know what I'm saying? So don't be mad at us, be mad at the slave owners and the slave buyers in that trade. That's why I respect all races. Let me tell you something, man. What y'all got out of watching Malcolm X? Out of all that y'all watch with Malcolm X, right? For all that you watch with Malcolm X, right? You know what I'm saying? For all those that watch Malcolm X, right? Yeah, for all those that watch Malcolm X, right? Y'all remember, right? What's one of the main one points that you did watching this movie, other than seeing everything else he did, man? He went to Mecca, and then he realized and seen that there was white Muslims that was making salat with blonde hair and blue eyes. So then he began to look at life different. Wait a minute, I thought Islam was just all black, because the narrative that he was being spoken upon, what they was telling him, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? The narrative that was created was they believed that all the Muslims are Africans. Then he goes to Mecca and goes, wait a minute, you got blonde hair, blue eyes, where you from? I'm from Yugoslavia. Where you from? I'm from Albania. Where you from? I'm from Spain. Huh? Mind you, you had that in New York already. Morris, there's a lot of Muslims out there that, but since, because of the narrative, we believe that Muslims can't be white. So that's one of the main points that was one of the reasons why the NOI, I got to do with their politics, began not to, because they didn't want to put that narrative out there. Oh, there's white Muslims. America wasn't ready for that because you can't create a narrative of hate. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to create the narrative of hate because hate sells, anger sells, beef sells. So if I sit here and go, yo, if you don't know no better, if you don't do your due diligence and do your research, right? And I sit here and go, yo, what you jacking, man? Do you know all the Muslims, all the God bodies is black? And he don't do his due diligence, and he go to Fort Greene Projects and run into Talik and all of them, your piece to the gods. You can sit there and bug out like, yo, he just told me in my projects that there was no Puerto Rican God bodies. Then I pull up the Fort Greene and there's 100 of them. I go to East New York, the dudes that's getting money with the other gods, like Puerto Rican Jesus and them, allegedly, they Puerto Ricans. These are the gods. I'm going to Queens, Southside. That's Puerto Rican gods. How is that happening when you told me, Z, that only the gods could be black? You know what I'm saying? So even though some of y'all may have personal issues with people, even though something may have happened during somebody's timeline that was a little weird, you can't take away the history. Stop trying to recreate the history. This is why you dudes is bugging out, mixing up, and trying to kill each other. Because now I'm recreating a history that doesn't make sense. That's offbeat. So now it looks like I'm trying to be the big homie. And some dudes might go, he ain't the big homie, get him. What is he talking about? Like I told you, because of these platforms, a lot of dudes will sit back and let dudes yap and go, you know what, I'm going to let him yap away because I'm in his inbox and maybe he can open the door for me if he blow. It's not about that, bro. Have some integrity with yourself. All that principles, morals, and all that other stuff. Get out. You can't have none of that without have no integrity. You can't have no principles. You can't have all that without having no integrity. Where, you know what I'm saying? If you sit there and allow somebody, if you allow somebody to talk crazy about something that's historical, that you know better, but because you believe that he can open the door for you some way down the line, or just give you some type of public announcement or acknowledgement, you ain't got no integrity, man. Integrity is all you got when you get to my age. Integrity is all you got. When you get to my age, integrity is all you got. Everything else should fall in place. You should already have principles installed with you, right? You should already have morals installed with you. Some dudes don't. But integrity is all you got. Integrity goes, I can't cheat on my wife because my wife is holding me down and making sure I'm good money. Or me and my wife, you see what I'm saying? I can't violate. I gotta have some integrity here. I can't behind her back go blaze something. You gotta say no. My man told me that a long time ago, man. He goes, all money ain't good money, man. I remember this guy came to my man with a $1 billion deal. Yo, I'm gonna bless you with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bless you with this, and I'm not gonna bother you. I'm gonna give you this, and my man said, nah, it's not. My man said, nah, because you got to block it. No, we can get this together. You could be the boy. I don't want to touch the money. I don't want to be around. My man said, nah, man, I'm good, man. What happened? The same dude went to somebody else with that same deal. That same deal went sour. Somebody died. You know what I'm saying? My man said, damn, I don't know about the situation, Z. But see, I said, no, Z. I couldn't put my integrity on the line. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? I know dudes that was giving dudes consignments They hit you with the consignment allegedly, and then get you robbed, and then come back to you like, yo, son, where my money at? And then now you owe somebody some bread because you can't tell somebody, yo, I just got booked for a big eighth. You know what I'm saying? So now a person that have you in debt. Facts, bro. So when we speak of this gang culture, let's speak about the livelihood of this gang culture, where we come from. This isn't, listen, man, if y'all think it's disrespect, throwing shots, so be it. But let's deal with this, let's deal with the knowledge, man. Integrity at some point gotta mean something in your life, man. I don't care if I can open the door for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I can open the door for you. Don't allow me to say what I want to say or do what I want to do because now I'm gonna be quiet because he can make this happen for me. Now, build your own, man. It might take a little bit longer, but if you have an idea that can make me $1 billion, but put you on, then use that same idea to make yourself $1 billion. It may take a little longer, but it'll get there, man. Have some integrity. Teach your kids integrity. When you teach your kids integrity, and somebody goes, yo, I want you to join my gang now, because that's not what my parents want me to do. I see something for myself. See, a lot of us made decisions that wasn't based off integrity, and this is why a lot of us are in gang files. This is why a lot of us went to jail. You know what I'm saying? This is why, bro. Because you're allowing somebody that to come around and he might know 2-3 good dudes and tell you a good story. And you like, yeah, yo, I'm telling you. If I sat there and said my projects, yo, the only guards I know is black, dark skin like us, and then they go to East New York and see a group of Puerto Rican guards, yo, what's this? Exactly, right there, 116th. I used to live there. When I first moved to East Harlem, I'm gonna give you the timeline. I moved to East Harlem in 1978. I went to PS 155 across the street. I lived between 1st and 2nd Avenue. There used to be a liquor store around the corner. You know what I'm saying? When I moved to Spanish Harlem, it was a bunch of blacks, Puerto Ricans, a lot of Vietnam vets, a lot of homelessness going on. When you go to 1st Avenue, that's where the Italians was at. They had mad pizza shops by 116th Street. Remember, Delightfuls was on the corner. When you go to Pleasant Avenue, that's where Fat Tony was at, between 1978, 79. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? 78 and 79. These are those times. I'm telling you, these are those times. Yep. They shot a movie on my block. I forgot the name of the movie, but they fixed the building up on 1st Ave. They used to sell weed out that building, the chicken bag. The manila envelopes. This is when the Down Boys was popping on the east side. Well, shout out to Wagner, Chino, and all of them. So, everything on that side. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you a piece of what I'm telling you. We grew up, it was a lot going on. You had the loan sharpening, you had the gambling spots, you had, it was messed up in the hood, but we got to see a lot of things. They shot a movie, right? In the first scene, the guy walked in the movie and they killed the whole family, but the little boy got away, and the lady, Sharon Stone, was in the movie, and she had the son and she was running from the mafia. They shot those first scenes on my block. You know what I'm saying? Facts. That's when the only thing you seen in the hood that was white was BCW, teachers, firemen, and cops. You know what I'm saying? But then, when you cross the tracks, see, I just told you, I just gave you a narrative, right? Wrong. Because when you cross the tracks on 1st Avenue and go towards Pleasant Avenue, it's a bunch of Italians over there. You know what I'm saying? See how they said the only people I see was white was nope, wrong. As soon as you cross the street on 1st Avenue, go towards Pleasant, and it was Benjamin Franklin High School, which is now Isaac Newton Junior High School, Manhattan Center. There was a bunch of Italians over there, whites. So stop going with a half narrative. Do your due diligence on something. I just could have said the only thing in my hood was blacks and Puerto Ricans. Where you from, Z? 117th between 1st and 2nd. Then I moved to 114th Street on 1st Avenue between 14th and 15th Street in the building. Me and my man Crazy lived on the same block. Around the corner, they had a sneaker store still there, Shammer. It's called Shammer. It was a sneaker store on the block on 114th Street between 1st and Pleasant, across the street from Jefferson Park. Shout out to Rock City, you know, man, Coastal, KRT, you know, Chill Wolf from the East Side. You know what I'm saying? We here. I'm giving you a brief description. You go with the Italians. You know what I'm saying? You know? With their kids, Italian, Vinny, and so on. Not name dropping. I'm just giving you a description of where we grew up at. These are the festivals out there. When I seen Hector Camacho come through, he came through in the Camaro. That's when he first won the belt. I'm just giving you a description. We all got along. A lot of us all went to school together. A lot of dudes went to Catholic church together. Remember, a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans are Catholics. They had a Catholic church that was down the block. So if nobody had nothing else that was united, they either went to St. Anne's by Jeff, right, in that neighborhood, right, or they went to Catholic school together. Catholic church together. So there was something that was familiar with the Puerto Ricans and the Italians. Come on, man. Salute to the chat, everybody here, man. I'm just giving it to you the way it needs to be given. I don't care who makes it live and come at me, throw shots, whatever. Y'all know the truth. Do your due diligence. Know what Zeke said this. Let me go check this out. Go ask your uncles. Yo, what was this like? Oh, what? For those that don't know about Puerto Rico. Nice high school, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Mark Anthony from the East Side. Yeah, TKA from the East Side. UFO Fee's father is Tony Stone, part of TKA. TKA was a famous freestyle group. What came from that was K7. What came from that was my man Ty Blessing from my block. Ty Blessing, man, with K7. My man J Quest. J Quest was on the Jason Lyric soundtrack. He also he had one album out that he made with Punch the Fat Bastard. That's why I respect Fat Joe. Because when my man J Quest, John, met Fat Joe was like, you know, he with the blacks, but he showed love. He said, listen, us as Latinos, we gotta stick together. We gotta put more Latinos on. Who would have thought that he'd have brought Big Pun to the table, and Big Pun would have been the first Puerto Rican platinum rap artist? Come on, bro. This is real talk. When this is Flo Joe. Fat Joe I'm talking about. I'm talking about a guy who was on the first album, Flo Joe. Him and my man J Quest met in the beginning when he was Fat Joe. We talking about the first time I seen Fat Joe was the Lord Finesse video at the castle. Yeah, I got you. I get one. I'm gonna do one for Power. You know what I'm saying? I keep saying Foster. He used to be in Foster a lot, Fosterville, but definitely salute the St. Nick Projects. Rest in peace, Mikey Power. The Cherry Lounge, you know. Like, remember the Cherry Lounge right by the bus depot? You know what I'm saying? You hear me? You know, definitely shout out to all my guys, DJ Craig G, my man Monster, them niggas on Convict. Salute to the chat, man. We here. My man Monster. Go holler at Monster. Yo, y'all know Monster from over there on Convict? Tell him Z Black sends his unconditional love, man. We here in the streets, man. We here. I just happen to know a lot of people, man. And I'm gonna give it to y'all the way we give it. You know what I'm saying? We digging in them crates, man. The first time I seen Fat Joe was when he was in that Lord Finesse video dancing. This is for the ladies. Wow, that's crazy. I ain't hear about the Bonzo serial killer getting snatched. That's crazy, man. That's that mental health stuff. Remember, you're not crazy until you do something that's crazy. And they go, oh, he's crazy. Oh, dudes be having issues. A lot of them gotta keep in mind, hold on. I want to tell y'all, it took me a while to do it, but now I can tell y'all, man. There's a lot of stories I know, but I love that y'all talk in the chat together. Y'all talk in the chat and y'all can build and destroy. Because that's what the unity comes at in communication, man. It's not about me knowing. Damn. Salute to the Nat Turner, man. Salute to Nat Turner, no doubt. Salute to Nat Turner, man. Salute to the bro, man. Came home. Salute to Nat Turner, man. Come on, man. We keep what's Papino, young friend, what's Papino, you know what I'm saying? We have to stop allowing people. Purple City, jumped up with Jamel. Facts. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Let's stop changing the narratives because it sounds good and we think it's an open opportunity or something new. No, let's not change our history, man. Don't allow somebody who's trying to learn our history change our history. That sounds insane, B. That sounds insane. And if I'm wrong, tell me in the chat. I'm not. You can leave it in the comments. Frank Luciano, salute. He one of the first Puerto Rican Billies. Frank Luciano. He was there. Come on, man. We're not gonna change history. We're not gonna disrespect nobody, but we're not gonna change history. That's it. I don't care how you felt about Dizzy. I don't care how you felt about Shy Nitty. I don't care about that. That's your personal feelings. We're not changing the history no more. You hear me? We're not changing it. We're not changing it for the cause. We're not doing that. We're not doing that because if I say this, then he might open the door for me. Listen, dude. Most of us even grew up like that, bro. Blacks and Puerto Ricans was getting money together. The average crew that got snatched up in the 90s, early 90s, it was blacks and Puerto Ricans getting snatched. Like I told you, the only issues we seen on certain blocks was, I'm going to tell you something. The only that was a little boy, that was word of mouth, was Ball Busters versus Zulu Nation. You know what I'm saying? And you want to get technical. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? Mr. Slimy, you know what I'm saying? Dog, that was the only little personal shit that we heard. You know what I'm saying? That's it, B. That's it. We can't, because the stories change. You can't say that there was no Latino bloods and why would they join in the whip and they wasn't part of the war. They always been a part of us, man. Even if, let me tell you something, right? What I just said to you is, right? Shout out to K Born, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to K Born, man. Shout out to 183rd B. Shout out to K Born. Shout out to Pinchy. You know what I'm saying? NYGs. You know what I'm saying? These are old school cats, right? One thing about K Born, man. K Born is great on history, bro. You hear me? It's great on history, man. He represent that third to, and 183rd plays a lot to a lot of the street narrative. Copy. Lisa Bell, my DM is my DM is Zeke Black Feed the Wolves on IG. Hit my DM, you know what I'm saying? And just send me the information. We're gonna get there. So I can tell his story. You know what I'm saying? So we can tell Nat Turner's story, man. His story needs to be heard. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. The stories need to be heard, man. You can't forget the warriors that was there. Remember, I wasn't a DFY cat. I wasn't in Camp Cass. I wasn't in Highland. I wasn't going to Spofford. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing the Humpty dance. I wasn't getting caught in the mix. I wasn't in the mix. Come on, man. We here, man. Well, tell Nat Turner he's unconditional love. And this is what he said. Nat Turner on the phone right now. He said, "Can you do a video on him? And for your info, he was the first blood of Saint Nick PJs before Mikey Powerhouse. Salute." So we're gonna do that. Oh yeah. I got to buy a thing for the phone this weekend because we're gonna do the facts on with Governor Cuomo was not giving New York State prisoners no COVID treatment or vaccine. Hold on. And that's what it is, man. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, man. We're going to get there. We're going to get there one way or another, man. You know what I'm saying? We allowed the narratives to change, man. And as the narratives change, it just got worse. It just got worse. Now, actually, somebody knocked on the door. You know what I'm saying? But it just got worse. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It just got worse. But that's funny you said about the Aryan Nation, because you go to the Fed, and they super deep. They super deep. You know what I'm saying? They're just super deep. But anyway, Larry Hoover, if I was drinking a beer, it doesn't matter because I'm grown. You see how that works? Because I'm grown. So when you're grown, you can do what grown people do. You see what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. That's what I like. I like to see the people conversing, man. Everybody's having a conversation, man. If anybody got any work by DM and Z Black Feed the Wolves, I know somebody's looking for some employment. Inbox me and I could direct Z Black Feed the Wolves on IG. And if, you know what I'm saying, you got any work, any plugins to work in them 5 boroughs in New York City, because I'm not there. Just DM me and I can try to plug some people in. Exactly. It was never that, man. We can't stop making it sound like, yo, when I can't, if you don't know that Black and Latinos always been together, man. That's a personal thing. Maybe that's just personal. You know what I'm saying? But don't bring your personal. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring your personal to the public. Like my personal beefs. Like my personal beefs. Right? My personal beefs. I don't bring to the forefront because it's my personal beefs. Like people, you know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the people. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you what's crazy what you said about that, right? I was locked up, right? I was locked up, early 90s. They locked up they did a massive raid in Chinatown. Them Chinese cats be in jail for the weirdest crimes, extortion, kidnapping. You be like, yo, his son weighed 5 pounds. He got 2 bodies in attempt, kidnapping. Those dudes be in jail for real crimes. Like the average Chinese person you bump heads with in jail is in jail for something violent. You know what I'm saying? Fact. The average Asian brother that you meet in jail. Exactly. That's why we don't hear about them. They be in jail for what? Extortion and kidnapping and, you know what I'm saying? And that's what happened now with the narratives, because we all knew people to speak and yo, we go through, but you know, that's jail situations, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Exactly, bro. And these gangs get locked up, then you hear these stories. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They got their own clubs they go to, their own little spots. They got they everything. They listen to hip hop and all that too. They got their own clubs they go to. They got their own venues. They really keep it to themselves, bro. They follow all the stuff that we follow. They listen to Ja Rule, DMX, Jay-Z. They just don't intermingle with us unless it's business. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It was a jail thing. You know what I'm saying? It was a jail thing. That's what happens in jail sometimes. Sometimes it be like I'm from Manhattan, right? And I pull up in the house. I might be in the Brooklyn house. You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn house. If nobody know me, I have to shake out, right? Phone time to get, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Where you from, Manhattan? Some dudes might feel Manhattan soft. Let's try him. Let's take his commissary. Let's take his sneakers. What does that mean? So now, whatever crew I put together in the dorm, it's to oppress those that oppressed me when I first came through. Whatever I put together at the tables is only because I'm trying to move the crowd with these dudes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things that you're hearing are really jail scenarios. Okay, they might have been in a house where it was mostly Spanish cats, and the Spanish cats was on a different type of time. Phone time, you got the phone, so when you went in the house, you had to pop. But a lot of times it had nothing to do with them being Spanish. It had a lot to do with what borough you was from. It might have been 20 cats from Cyprus. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans that's in Cyprus, New York City line and all that. Brooklyn, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in East New York. See, again, We assume that the whole East is just all blacks. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Latinos in East New York, Brooklyn. So you might bump in their house and son, official Puerto Rican cat, he got the holding the house down with his Boricuas. You want to use the phone, you got to shake out with 20 of them. So now you get a crew together. And now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what was going on in certain houses at that time. It depends on where you was at in jail. Remember, the thing started in the adults. A lot of stuff played issues. Good example. I'm gonna give you a better example. Good example. I may not have beef with you in Sawanga, but some dudes I was running with, they had beef with you. So now I'm on Rikers Island, we bump heads. You don't jack me because I ran with some cats that you was beefing with. So now you got power in that house and they say the person I was running with was oppressing you. You're going to say, yo, son, but he used to run with them cats. A lot of dudes got punched in the face, not because they was homie, because they ran with the homie. So now when you leave that house and you go someplace else, you might go in an all Spanish house, they on they a lot of the issues. It be what dudes doing in other spots. Exactly. So that's where we at. We on real righteous time. We gonna build the platform. We're building this up on the righteous note. On the righteous note, I'm gonna get the phone line. We're gonna talk about things that make sense. We're not because we went through the history already. You know what I'm saying? For those that don't like it, I don't care. Like I said, good examples: Dizzy, Mark Cross, Panamanians. You know what I'm saying? Panamanian heritage. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of them too. Sea Diamonds. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch that got Latino in them somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just what movement you ran with. Okay, at one point in time, it might have been a little bit of bullying. But I mean bullying, no phone time, this, that, and the third there. Then you had some houses where dudes are still stuck on Brooklyn time. So even though you Puerto Rican, I'm black, we from the East, son. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's that we allow certain people to come out and change the narratives, and they made a history, and the history was able to recruit people. Like, yo, it's a war going on, and this is join because you're against oppression. But then it has to make sense, right? The whole story, when you hear the whole story, it was more about learning more about being African American, being African, learning about your African roots and about revolution. So in the rules, other than going to war with Latino, it was a lot of history thing. You know what I'm saying? History started being, manipulated. At the end of the day, if you don't do your due diligence and do your own history, then you will be stuck. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way that you can be 031 going to war with a bunch of Puerto Ricans, right? And then you from Spanish Harlem. But then when you get out of jail and you're 1 and 3, you go back to the neighborhood. Some of your best friends is Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? The guy who puts you on your feet is Puerto Rican. So it wasn't a black and Latino thing. It was a group of people versus another group of people that just exploded. It just exploded. It went bigger than what it was. Because a lot of dudes that was getting locked up coming home, they went right back to getting the pack from Juan. They went back to going to Jose Marquez Perez. Let me get a pack, son. So if you were going to war with the Spanish cats in the penitentiary, you want integrity, right? The same feeling, man. I ain't mess with these Puerto Rican cats because boom. So there's no way that you do a 2 to 6, you going gun to gun and Mohawk with a bunch of Puerto Ricans, so they trying to impress us, and then you come home and go, yo, Miguel, I need 150 grams. So that's where the off balance is at. You know what I'm saying? It was just nothing to do. People were in jail, and that became trendy, like the trending topic. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. You go on any platform, talk crazy, do what you want to do. So that's where you heard it first. It was personal situations that just exploded. Something that happened in one house. Like I told you, maybe the building of the house that they was in, it was going through that. But I'm gonna tell you something. I remember 9-2 going in the house. It was a bunch of Brooklyn cats had the phone. I remember a bunch of dudes fighting the Brooklyn cats for phone time. Blacks versus blacks for phone time. I remember that. in the Sprungs. In the Sprungs at that, the Sprungs program house. Back then, the Sprungs was really a program house over the phone. This is 9-2. It wasn't blacks and Puerto Ricans. The thing with the Puerto Ricans was the Puerto Ricans, they felt like they was being, they was being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? They thought they was being oppressed, so they tried to find a way to jump out. You know what I'm saying? They found a way to jump out the window. I don't know. I don't know what dudes' personal drug addictions is. You know what I'm saying? I don't hang out with them. You know what I'm saying? But we can't take away from the history. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think a lot of times the story get mixed up in the history because we look at like Dizzy. Oh, he messed with the bag. So we take away from that he's one of the first Latinos that really ran around with this when it first started as the originals. You know what I'm saying? We can't, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? They've always been in our lane. They always been in our lane. When they wasn't. If y'all want to get up to date with somebody that's in the gym, that's in rotation. You know what I'm saying? Always been in our lane, bro. There's a big homie right now, Panamanian. He been around since day one. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that exploded. Nobody thought that this would get bigger than what it was, but it grew. It grew bigger than what it was. And once it grew bigger than what it was, there was no taking it back. Now, instead of being 4 names to it, there's 200 names to it. Now there's 300 names to it. Now it's in the street. Now it's 1,000 names to it. Now it's in the 4 building. It's 20,000 names to it. Now it's in 50,000 names to it. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So then, when something is created, it just sets up. It's a Black Latino war, so now it's a personal thing. Black, Puerto Rico. Because think about this. How many dudes I know that was a part of the whole 031, the original concept, that came home and getting it packed from Little Juan? Like, son, I thought y'all was banging this. I thought it was oppression. You know what I'm saying? All the time, nut. All the time, Pete. All the time, nut. How many dudes I knew that was coming home going right to Jose? Not Jose, but Juan and Peter and, little Paul, Paul Martinez and them niggas. And let me get it back. And Paul Martinez, little brother Latin King, and, Jesus, his uncles is the 2-star somewhere, the 2 crowns somewhere. All that fly out the window, you know what I'm saying? Facts, you know what I'm saying? All that fly out the window. Too. You do this. Oh, yo, what's up? What's poppin'? So let's stop creating these weird narratives, man. The only ones that can say that they wasn't messing with them Puerto Ricans when they came home was dudes that was just not getting money. Or they had a good black connect. You know what I'm saying? The Latinos controlled the industry. Even with the Dominicans, even with the Jamaicans. Jamaicans was dealing with the Latinos. That's how business goes. But see, a lot of us ain't business minded. We don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You don't look at it like that way. You'd be surprised who was doing business with who. You'd be surprised who was networking with who. You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised who's at whose table. You'd be surprised who really was the connect behind. Remember, we never heard of the connects to Blue Thunder, Obsession. We just heard about Boy George getting back. We never heard about his connect getting back. We never heard about the 9.5, the connect getting back, the Stingrays, the connect getting back. We never. That's one thing about that society. We don't know the connect. It could have been just one connect for everybody. The only time that we heard connects get back was during the Nicky Barnes situation because Nicky Barnes gave up a lot of dudes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? So let's deal with the factions now. Y'all know I got to get ready to go to work. I appreciate everybody that's in here. Nut was popping. Salute to Wise Brim. Salute to everybody from Larkin Orange. Salute to my Queens Crew Mustache Clothes Collection. I mean, Leap and Pipe and all of them. Salute to Old New York. You know what I'm saying? He with the family. My man 5 Foot and all of them. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Guy Fisher. J.E. Moneybags is in the building. Courts TV. Salute to him. We here, party people. This isn't, I'm just giving y'all historical with the Damus. You know what I'm saying? They always been around. If you know what I'm saying. So if you section off in your area all your life, then you see what you see. We get it. But if you moved around, you will see what's the big difference. Blacks and Puerto Ricans always got money together. Even out of town, we always got money together. You know what I'm saying? There's certain neighborhoods that was a little more different where the blacks and Puerto Ricans was going through it. You know, like Soundview, Watson, and side blocks, we get it. You know what I'm saying? The Puerto Ricans versus the blacks in Soundview, you cross the bridge, you might get jumped. You cross the bridge on the other side, you might get jumped. But that's all from generational stuff. Like I told you, ball busters. Like when y'all talk about the Upper East Side, you're talking about Douglas Projects and those other stuff and all of those are neighborhoods that when the ball busters see you, they might chase you. But listen, you had Rock City Crew over there by West Side High School. You had IBM Crew, so like graffiti. You know what I'm saying? You had a bunch of dudes that was out there. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to the CM. My man Dev CM. Y'all probably see the CM, Nice and all of them. Lord Shea and them niggas. You know what I'm saying? That's the CM crew. You know what I'm saying? I was cool with Dev. That's my man. White boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All that was jail stuff. So just do your due diligence. Get into your roots, heritage, man. Like, wait a minute. Embrace your heritage. Embrace what you're around. Stop thinking because I'm black. I may not my mother's last name might not be Martinez. So with that being said, I have to go. I have to go to work. I have to go to work. I salute y'all. Thank you for joining the chat. History lesson. With that being said, one love. Have a good day, and teach your kids about heritage. Heritage. Small beefs that just went international. Heritage. Teach your kids about heritage. Go. How can all Puerto Ricans be racist and not like blacks when there's a portion of Puerto Ricans that got 80% African in Puerto Rico? You know what I'm saying? DR, the same thing. So with that being said, man, have a good afternoon, man. Salute.